The bustling studio of The View hummed with anticipation as the cameras rolled on this crisp October morning in 2025, the iconic round table gleaming under the bright lights, surrounded by a diverse audience of women in their finest daytime attire, chattering excitedly about the day's guest lineup. Whoopi Goldberg, ever the poised moderator, kicked off the segment with her signature warmth, introducing Arnold Schwarzenegger not just as the indomitable Terminator or the seven-time Mr. Universe, but as the multifaceted icon whose life story, from Austrian bodybuilder to California governor to environmental advocate, continued to inspire millions. Arnold, at 78, strode onto the set with that unmistakable swagger, his broad shoulders filling out a tailored navy suit, a mischievous glint in his eye as he waved to the cheering crowd, his thick Austrian accent already cutting through the applause like a well-honed knife. Joy Behar, seated to Whoopi's right, adjusted her glasses with a sly smile, her sharp wit primed for the verbal sparring that often defined these interviews, while co-hosts Sunny Hostin and Sarah Haynes exchanged knowing glances, sensing the electric potential for fireworks in the air. Arnold settled into his chair, crossing his legs with casual confidence, and launched into tales from his latest memoir, Be Useful: The Road to Resilience, recounting his improbable journey to America in 1968 with just a duffel bag and dreams bigger than the Pacific Ocean, emphasizing how gratitude and hard work turned an immigrant's hustle into Hollywood legend. The audience leaned in, captivated by his charisma, as he quipped about pumping iron in a dingy gym while dreaming of governorship, drawing laughter that echoed off the studio walls. But beneath the levity, Joy's eyes narrowed slightly, her mind whirring with the provocative angles she loved to probe: politics, personal scandals, the raw underbelly of fame. As Arnold waxed poetic about unity in a divided America, pray. Deep into the interview's core, with the sun filtering through the studio's high windows, casting long shadows across the polished floor, Joy Behar escalated her line of questioning, her voice rising like a siren in the night, zeroing in on Arnold's. Midway through the volatile back and forth, with the studio lights dimming slightly for a dramatic pause that felt engineered by fate itself, Joy Behar crossed the Rubicon of restraint, her voice slicing through the hum of anticipation like a shard of glass, linking Arnold's storied affair with his housekeeper to a broader indictment of privileged men dictating immigrant fates, her words tumbling out in a cascade of calculated cruelty. You came here chasing dreams, Arnold, but let's not forget how you shattered someone else's, leaving a family in the shadows, much like the policies you now defend that hide people in fear. The audience inhaled sharply, a collective gasp morphing into murmurs of shock as the camera panned across faces frozen in disbelief, the air electric with the scent of scorched earth. Arnold's expression transformed in an instant, from affable raconteur to avenging colossus, his fists clenching subtly on the table's edge, veins bulging like rivers on a map of unresolved rage, before he erupted in a volcanic response that shook the foundations of the set. Joy, that was a lifetime ago, a mistake I owned, apologized for 1,000 times over, to Maria, to my children, to the world, and turned into lessons that built bridges, not burned them. He thundered, his accent a rolling avalanche, rising halfway from his chair as if the Terminator suit had materialized beneath his skin, eyes locked on hers with an intensity that pinned her in place. The crowd exploded into a frenzy of cheers and applause, feet stomping in solidarity, drowning out Whoopi's frantic attempts to regain control, her gavel metaphorically banging as she pleaded, Okay, let's keep it civil, folks." But Arnold was a freight train now, unstoppable, pivoting to dismantle Joy's hypocrisy with surgical precision, recounting her own past soundbites on forgiveness and second chances that rang hollow in this moment. Emerging from the commercial abyss, the studio recalibrated under a veneer of normalcy, the lights snapping back to full glare as if to blind the lingering ghosts of discord. Whoopi Goldberg launching into a hasty segue about Arnold's latest fitness app, her laughter a lifeline tossed to salvage the ship's sinking segments. but the undercurrent of unrest swirled like smoke from a just-extinguished fuse. Arnold, recomposed yet radiating residual heat, nodded graciously, diving into demos of kettlebell swings that had the audience mimicking from their seats, bursts of levity punctuating the air. Yet Joy Behar seethed across the table, her silence a coiled serpent waiting to strike anew, fingers drumming a tattoo of impatience on her water glass. The co-hosts, sensing fragility, tiptoed through compliments on his philanthropy. Sonny gushing over his environmental documentaries that spotlighted ocean plastics choking marine life. Arnold obliging with vivid vignettes of diving debris-filled reefs, his passion a balm that momentarily soothed the sores. But Joy, ever the provocateur, couldn't resist reigniting the blaze, her interjection a Molotov cocktail masquerading as curiosity. All this talk of cleaning up messes, Arnold. Does that include the one you left in Sacramento, with your little secret family side hustle? The room detonated once more, gasps cascading like dominoes, the audience's earlier warmth for Joy curdling into outright hostility, booze cascading in waves that Whoopi waved away futilely. Her pleas for peace lost in the din. Arnold's eruption this time was tectonic, his chair shoving back with a screech that silenced the chaos, standing to his full imposing height, voice a cannonade echoing off walls. Enough, Joy. You've danced on graves long enough. Mine, my family's, the very immigrants you claim to champion by cheapening their struggles with your gotcha games. His words sliced through defenses. Nearing the interview's zenith, with a studio clock ticking like a bomb in a blockbuster flick, the atmosphere thickened to molasses density. Every breath labored under the weight of words unspoken, yet screaming for release. Whoopi Goldberg's moderating maneuvers growing frantic as she lobbed softballs about Arnold's upcoming Netflix project. A docuseries on global resilience that promised to spotlight unsung heroes from war-torn zones to wildfire fronts. Arnold engaged with gusto, his descriptions vivid as VistaVision. Tales of Ukrainian refugees rebuilding with rebar and resolve. Australian firefighters forging firebreaks with sheer will, drawing oohs and ahs that momentarily masked the melee. His charisma, a chameleon adapting to soothe. Yet Joy Behar, cornered cobra that she was, slithered back into strike mode, her query a venomous vein tap on Arnold's views on celebrity activism, slyly slipping in a swipe at his silent stance on recent Hollywood strikes, implying complicity in silencing the voiceless, her eyes gleaming with the thrill of the hunt. The audience bristled, murmurs building to a buzzsaw hum, but Arnold's counter-eruption was symphonic in scope, his voice rising like a symphony's crescendo, decrying the armchair activism that accused without alliance building, recounting his own strike solidarity through back-channel donations and union hall pep talks, his frame vibrating with veracity as he challenged Joy's credentials. You've got the mic every day, Joy. How many workers have you walked picket lines with beyond the punchlines? The retort resonated like a Richter scale revelation. Applause avalanching over the table, co-hosts frozen in the fallout, Sonny's pen hovering mid-note as if transcribing thunder. Joy fired back with flustered fury, citing her feminist forefights from the 70s, but Arnold dismantled it deftly, weaving in his advocacy for women's rights via Planned Parenthood endowments and equal